96.5 The Fan. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Chiefs football.
Touchdown, Kansas City!
And your home for Royals baseball.
Fastball hit high in the air, deep left field, way gone into the bleachers. A two-run homer for Bobby Witt Jr.
Watch The Drive by subscribing on our YouTube channel or listen on demand with the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
This show is always going to stand on principles. Dippin' Dots are incredible. Red Lobster is the best restaurant that America has to offer, and baked beans are trash.
You're listening to Kansas City's FM sports station, 96.5 The Fan. Here's C-Dot.
Can I share something with you guys? This is really important to me. I don't really get in my feelings about the show. I just understand what it is. I know how to compartmentalize at this point. I've been doing this a long time, but there's one thing that always happens that it makes me feel some kind of way. So after a Royals Day game, I'm sitting here, Rob and I are bonding, connecting, team building, and we're watching the game. I usually come in here in the studio by myself and I take notes and, I just get some things done. And I'm listening to the Josh Vernier postgame show. And Rob, it'll be full phone lines. People can't wait to talk to Vern. And then Vern will sign off and say that we're coming up next, then no one will be on hold. No one wants to talk to me? Who am I? Chopped liver? I want to talk about the Royals games with you guys. I watched the same game that you watched. It hurts my feelings when you guys do that. It does. I feel some kind of way about it. I cry inside. Does no one care about my feelings? 913-586-7965. One person did hold. You know what? We're going to take their phone call right now before I even talk. I just want to let you know that it hurt my feelings that everybody got off of the phone lines when they heard I was coming. I didn't do anything to anybody. I'm not the one that gave up the run in the ninth inning. Double J, how you doing today?
C-Dot, what's good, my man? Hey, thanks for taking the call. I just want to say that was a tough loss today for the Royals. And, the thing that's going to, be the Achilles heel is it's the same old stuff from last year, leaving runners in scoring position. They got to get back to the fundamentals, and I put that on the entire coaching staff and the players, too. So, I know it's still on season, and, at least we're playing around 500, and hopefully we can figure that out and hopefully have a chance at this division at the end of the season. Appreciate it, and I'll listen to your thoughts off air.
Double J, I'm with you, man. Thank you a lot for calling. I'm 100% with you. I want the Royals to stay in it. We all want them to be in it. Someone on the text line says, C-Dot, stop. You never take phone calls. You take one phone call a month. People don't really call the show. Maybe it's because we've just created the culture, but it is a little bit of chicken or the egg because, Rob, you're here. Whenever we do start to take phone calls, what's the number one sentiment on the text line?
Please stop taking calls.
Please stop taking calls. Normally when I'm like, hey, you know what? I'm in the mood to take phone calls. You guys don't want to hear other people talk. I don't know. It's a catch-22. Can I tell you guys a story? This has nothing to do with phone calls. And people are calling, Rob. We'll take their phone calls. I was having fun. We'll happily take your phone calls. I want to tell you guys a story. So it is myself, Rob, and Spectre. We are all sitting around and we are all watching the game. Now, no one is really around. All the other shows are off working. There's nobody else in the office. It's just us three bonding. We're men. We're watching the game. And as I'm watching the game, I make a little bit of a joke. And I say, there's a group of people that hate the extra inning rule. They don't like the extra inning rule. And I looked at Spectre and I said, do people want more of this game? And Rob looked at me and said, oh, you don't have to worry about that. I said, Rob, what do you mean? He said, this game's not going to extras. And again, I was very perplexed. It was a 1-1 game. It was the ninth inning. Rob sounded very confident when he said it. He said, oh, you don't have to worry about that. This game's not going to the 10th inning. I said, what do you mean? He said, oh, the Royals are about to give up the run in this inning. I said, pretty negative of you, but honestly, that's on brand. That's the Rob Britton that I know. That's my friend. That's my brother. So when he was being negative, I didn't even really think about it. I was like, oh, okay, all right, whatever. You know, as the inning started to happen, I picked up my notepad and I picked up my pen and I started walking into the studio to start getting ready for the show because I realized that Rob was going to be right. I mean, I realized it with the runner on first base. I've watched a lot of Royals baseball in my life. I just had that feeling. So Rob followed me in here. I got away from Rob because I didn't want to be around Rob's aura. I didn't want to be around Rob's negativity, his gosh darn negativity. I didn't want to be around it. Spectre laughed, and then Spectre came in here. So then we're watching the end of the Royals game. I wanted peace and quiet. They would not allow me to have that. And Spectre asked the best question that he has ever asked me in my entire life. He said, Carrington, are you more mad at the bullpen or the offense today? I said, that's a good question. I don't have a good answer for that right now. Let me think about it a little bit more. Now, the answer is the offense, and I think this is why. 913-586-7965. And I'm very happy to hear you guys answer on which one you think it is. Are you more mad today at the offense or the bullpen? I'm not ready to definitively make this statement, but it does feel very similar. Now, if I can pat myself on the back just a little bit, at this time last year, I feel like I was the only person in Kansas City saying, hey, something's wrong with the run game and the Chiefs really need to do something about it. And I feel like the consensus was there's nothing wrong with our run game. You're overreacting to it. Well, when the season got here, I think I was proven right, and I think everybody kind of came along to that. Well, a lot of the reason why it was because their run game was broken. They didn't really do anything to fix it. And we kind of found ourselves in the exact same spot. But if you don't add to the run game and you don't take away from the run game, I don't really know how the expectation was that it was going to be much different. It was basically what it was last year. I use that comparison to then look at the Royals offense, and maybe this is something that we all signed ourselves up for. The Royals offense is the same that it was last year. I mean, sure, they added Isaac Collins to the offense. Sure, they added Lance Thomas to the offense. Two people that could walk down the middle of the street in the plaza and not a single person would stop or recognize these individuals. And I'm not saying they're not good baseball players, but we don't know these people. The Royals offense that disappointed us for most of 2025, a lot of them returned for 2026. Now, maybe we were wrong to be optimistic, but this is just a continuation of what the Royals offense had been doing. Ladies and gentlemen, they had one hit today. One. By a player who wasn't on the Royals until August of last year. For all the conversations that we had about the World Baseball Classic and the foundation of this organization and hope for the future and what they could potentially be, are those guys helping the Royals right now? Because Bobby Wood Jr. is an all-star MVP future Hall of Fame guy. Off to a slow start. Vinny Pasquantino, he does this every April. He gets off to this slow start. Miguel Garcia, not really helping him a whole lot right now offensively. Maybe we all should have seen this coming. Maybe some of you did 913-586-7965. Maybe you saw it coming the same way I did with the Chiefs rushing attack. I was like, wait, hold on. Like, they brought back Isaiah Pacheco. They brought back Kareem Hunt. They spent the 7th round pick. Like, I don't think that's going to work. And you guys would tell me, no, it's going to work. And I ended up being right. Maybe if you were on the other side of this, you were the one that ended up being right. Maybe bringing back largely the same nucleus from an offense last year that didn't work was not a great plan, and not really doing a whole lot to invest and improve in the offense was going to lead them through this. Now, it's just 10, 11 games, so I'm not here to completely overreact to the offense, but I dare anybody to tell me what's changed, what's different about the Royals. because this feels largely similar to who the Royals were last year, which, I mean, that team was over 500. That team was competitive. That team was in it for the most part, but this feels kind of like last year's team. Good starting pitching that's going to keep the ceiling and the floor relatively high. An offense that's going to go through highs and lows. It's going to go through spurts. A bullpen that's rather shaky. And a team that's not going to completely fall out of it, but I'm not really sure how in it they are and if you can put them in the same conversation of a team that you think can really do something in October. Have we seen something so far that would really challenge that thinking? Because the answer to me so far, Rob, it has to be no based on what we've seen so far in the first 2 weeks of Royals baseball.
I am not here to defend the offense because the offense is not good today. They had one hit. That's awful. I mean, it was a home run, so it was a good one hit, but you can't have one hit. I don't care about the cold, none of that. I will tell you this, though, about the Royals offense and why I'm not selling my they will be better in 26 as an offense stock. They had 8 walks today. I don't have the game logs in front of me, but how many times do you think the Royals had 8 walks in a game last year? That would show improved plate discipline. Now, you got to do more than just have 8 walks because one run ain't winning in a lot of games. It's a losing formula. But I will at least chalk this one up early to the approach is correct. The results will eventually follow because 8 walks is a good methodology. We joke all the time about, good process, bad results. That's what today sometimes feels like. Now, maybe this was an outlier and they'll go back to the free swinging Royals that don't get big hits and it is the same as last year. But I will defend them in iota by saying a team that gets 8 walks usually scratches across more than one run, and maybe today was just some harsh luck playing in 22-degree weather in Cleveland.
I feel like we've been having that same conversation about the Royals offense now for a year and a half. Have we not been? Man, I mean, they're really hitting the ball hard. They're just hitting it right at people. I feel like we've been having some variation of that conversation with the Royals offense for quite some time. We can take your phone calls after this, 913-586-7965. I mean, I was asked a very, very good question earlier. Are you mad today at the Royals offense or the Royals bullpen? And my frustration with the Royals offense is that I feel like I've seen this movie before. This just doesn't feel any different than last year. The Royals will get hot at some point. I don't think that Vinny's not hitting a home run this year. I don't think that Bobby Witt Jr. isn't hitting a home run this year. Like, sure, they're going to get hot at some point. But I feel like we've seen enough Royals baseball with this nucleus over the last 24 months to know that there's going to be some highs, there are going to be some lows. And for the most part, I feel like for basically, if we're going back now, even past that, I feel like for the last 200 Royals games or so, we have just simply watched the Royals tread water. We have just seen the Royals be the definition of an average baseball team. Again, and that's not, from where the Royals used to be, that's not bad. You and I are used to the Royals being a 65-win baseball team, but I haven't really seen much reason to think that they can be a 90-win baseball team. They're just fine. Take your kids out there, have a good time, go ride the carousel, go ride the merry-go-round, get yourself a hot dog, get yourself a beer, go out there for a buck night, a Tuesday for a giveaway. This was supposed to be the year that the Royals took a step forward. It feels like the Royals have just been standing in place for the last year and a half, 2 seasons, in really all phases, off the field and on the field. We don't feel any closer when it comes to the stadium. The Royals don't seem any closer to being a contending team and a team that can really capture your imagination. The most excited that we've been about the Royals baseball over the last 2 years was during exhibition games. That's the most excited we've been about the Royals in 2 years of watching them play. We can take your phone calls next. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison
I mean, come on, guys. What are we doing here?
on your home for Chiefs football, 96.5 The Fan.
Well, it's Carrington Harrison from The Drive here. Let me ask you a couple of questions. Do you have poor sleep? What about low energy? How about brain fog, a reduced sex drive, weight gain, and workouts that just don't deliver like they used to? Well, the problem could be low testosterone. And the truth is, those testosterone levels can start declining as early as your 30s, 2 or 3% every single year. And before you know it, you just don't feel like the same man you did back in the day. Well, you don't have to accept this as just aging. Heartland Men's Health specializes in customized testosterone therapy and targeted body composition plans. You might think you have low T. Well, pick up the phone and call this number, 844-447-6600, or check out the website and take this simple 10-question quiz. Visit heartlandmenshealth.com. Your initial visit is just $100, includes a medical consultation, a PSA test, and lab results in about 30 minutes, and your treatment can start that day. 3 locations, Overland Park, Independence, North Kansas City. There's no need to wait. Go stop by and see my friends over at Heartland Men's Health.
Featured therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Wouldn't you like to take a vacation from your bills? Well, you can. With credit card balances at an all-time high and Golden Oak's 4.5% rate, you could be saving thousands of dollars after a simple phone call. Call today and get your cash in as little as 14 days and make no payments for 2 months. Call 913-890-GOLD.
Golden Oak Landing cured my blues.
5.442 APR, FHA 15-year, 20% equity, qualified credit, additional terms apply. NMLS 114937.
Warmer weather, longer days, and a juicy steak sizzling on the fire. Ah, smells like grilling season is here. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. Choose bacon-wrapped chicken grillers for $3.99 each. Marinated chicken breasts, $1.99. Thick-cut pork chops, 3 for $5. And specialty brats, just 8 for $10. Don't forget your favorite marinade, rubs, and sauces, and fire up the grill this Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee makes our life easier every single day. Not only do they have great quality customer service and value every single day at Hy-Vee, they help us out and they take the pressure of shopping off our plate. We've got our Perks Plus membership. We upgraded from the regular Hy-Vee Perks membership because with Perks Plus, we get free grocery delivery or express pickup, plus even more exclusive benefits and savings like fuel saver deals all day long. So enroll today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Only at Hy-Vee.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
The smartest way to spend your money is not to. Straight Talk offers free 5G phones for new and existing customers on Verizon's 5G network. So the refund money I don't spend on that free phone is the refund money I get to keep for my family. Smart.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straight Talk Wireless. Straightforward. Always. Taxes and fees apply. Plan purchase required for free phone offers. Copyright 2026 Verizon.
Did you hear? Allstate car insurance now costs even less. So when you bundle with home, you can save even more. Check Allstate first to bundle and save with a new lower auto rate. You're in good hands with Allstate. Not available in every state. Only applicable for new auto insurance business. Rates will vary by several factors, including how you purchase the policy. Potential savings may vary. Allstate North American Insurance Company and Affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here for Renner Garage Door, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
The crash headed into Overland Park, still there. 35 southbound, just past 75th. It is the right lane blocked and very heavy. Let's see, all the way back to the wreck that is, at 635 southbound and 35. That's off to the right shoulder, but a lot of onlooker delay there as the two merge. We've got crash 670 eastbound at 71 southbound downtown, left lane still blocked. Time now with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, it's Carlos Esteves from the Kansas City Royals. Welcome back to The Drive with C-Dot right here on 96.5 The Fan.
The text line is split right now. Happy to take you guys' phone calls as well. I want to respond to this text. Before we do that, I want to remind you guys that this year we have partnered with KCUC, who is donating $50 to the Prostate Cancer Foundation for every home run that the Royals hit this season. 1 in 8 men will face prostate cancer. Early detection saves lives. At KCUC, Kansas City's largest and most experienced and most advanced urology team, you can see the best in Kansas City. Make that schedule today over at kcuc.com. The Royals got one hit today. That was a home run, so $50 is going to the Prostate Cancer Foundation. Someone on the text line is upset at me. That's perfectly fine. He says, C-Dot, you're talking out your blank. We have had 10 games. That is 100% not accurate. They've actually had 11 games. Neither here nor there. You are right in that it is a limited sample size. But this is my question to anybody that is challenging what I have said. I looked this up during the commercial break because I was curious. If you go back to the All-Star break in 2024, the Royals have played 238 games. We're talking about a pretty big sample size of games. Over that time frame, the Royals are 4 games over 500. I'm not here telling you that the Royals are bad. I think we all are at that same point here. The conversation from January, February, and March was, are the Royals ready to take a step further? We have watched now 2 weeks of Royals baseball. Have the Royals shown you that they're different? Or have the Royals shown you that they are largely going to be the same team that they were last year? Now, that's not a 71-win team, but I'm talking about a team that is not really going to challenge or threaten for their division, and a team that is going to spend August and September fighting for the second or third wild card race. That, yeah, sure, you're in it, but I want to see the Royals take a step forward. And maybe watching their offense so far through the first 2 weeks, maybe I'm just triggered. I've just got 2025 PTSD. Their offense was underwhelming. Their offense was disappointing despite having all of the pieces you would imagine that you should be able to take a step forward offensively. A lot of those guys are back. Just 3 weeks ago, we were singing all of these guys' praises in the WBC and Kansas City. We were all buying into it. Their offense doesn't look any different than it did 6 months ago, 7 months ago. Struggling to score runs, no power. I just feel like we are in the same place. Maybe this is me, and we're all adults. We've all been in this situation where we've been doing this for long enough, and you roll over and you look at your partner and you ask, what are we doing here? That's what I'm asking. What are we doing here with the Royals? If this is just a fun thing, then cool. If this is just hey, this is something to do in June and July to get us until football season, then that's great. That's fine. But I think we all can acknowledge that the Royals have a higher ceiling than that. There's greater potential than that. I don't know if the Royals, at least in my lifetime, have ever had a rotation like this for a prolonged period of time. They've squandered it over the last year and a half. They've done very little with it. And the Royals, from an outside perspective, haven't really done anything to bolster their offense other than hope their guys get better. That's what it feels like the plan is. Hope their guys get better, which is a fine plan. But, Rob, in 2015, they went out and they got Kendrys Morales. In 2015, they went out and got Ben Zobrist. The Royals realized what we have in our farm system is not enough, so we need to go out and need to be proactive in making moves that bolster our offense. They brought in Lane Thomas and Isaac Collins. This was the improvement for the offense. This just feels like more of the same.
That's fair. But to be devil's advocate here, didn't we say preseason this team feels more like 2013 into 14? What were the big moves in the 2013 season before the 2014?
How many years can they be the 2013 Royals?
That's fair. I mean,
because I would argue
it's the third year of
they were that in
so
2024. They were that last year, and at some point you have to graduate from being the 2013 Royals. The 2013 Royals knocked on the door. In 2014, they walked in the door, and in 2015, they made the house theirs. So
and then they gave it all away, to be fair.
From the organization that we watched play a home playoff game against the Yankees, do they feel like they have improved or taken the necessary steps to go further than where they went a year and a half ago? And show me on the field where those moves have been made, because I don't see them, I don't feel them. And that's what I want to feel. I want to feel like we are progressing. And I don't feel like the Royals are progressing. 913-586-7965. Let's go to the phone lines and take your calls. Let's go to Easton. He called into the show. Hey, Easton, how you doing today, man?
I'm good. How are you, C-Dog?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you calling in.
Well, first things first, you're right. The offense is 100% to blame today. I mean, 1 run from the bullpen and 2 in a third or whatever. I mean, that's going to happen every now and then. But first things first, Michael Garcia has been an all-star for the first 10, 11 games now, hitting 350s, OPS in like the 900s. You got to give him respect. You cannot lump him in with all the others that are underperforming. First things first.
That's fair.
But I will say the bottom half of the lineup, 7, 8, 9, bottom third, has been vastly improved from anything over the last 11 games, over anything we have seen from the bottom half last year or the year prior. I think Bobby, Vince, and Sal, Michael, those guys are going to hit at some point. And if the bottom third of the lineup isn't absolutely anemic like they were the past 2 years, we will be just fine. We will be just fine. With the pitching we got, we'll be all right. It is a continuation of the struggles, but I think the approach has changed. I like seeing the walks. And when the guys that get hot, the bottom of the order will do enough to supplement them this year, I think.
That's fair, Easton. I appreciate the phone call, 913-586-7965. I want to read this text to you guys. C-Dot, I would say that you are underselling how much change this offense has had. For one, Carter Jensen and Cags weren't on the offense for a majority of the year last year, and I'm very optimistic about both of them. I think that is a fair point to note. This is the analogy I thought of earlier today with Jack Caglione, and I'll take some more phone calls here. Rob, do you remember in the movie Big Daddy? And in the first 30 minutes of the movie, they are planning a surprise party for Jon Stewart's character. And remember how they got all excited and it was Adam Sandler's character that walked through the door. And they had the normal surprise for that guy. And then when Jon Stewart actually walked in, they were like, oh, wait, we wasted the good surprise on you. At some point with Jack Caglione, I feel like all of the time that we spent talking about Jack Caglione for that year and a half, we should have spent that time talking about Carter Jensen. Because if we were just talking about just based on the hype, level of expectation, player comparisons, us going out to the stadium, support, all the energy that we spent last year talking about Jack Caglione and the lack of energy that we had from Carter Jensen, and then what they have both done since they've gotten here, it is not close between the two. Remember when people were telling us that Jack Caglione, we had people that know baseball that were saying he was a top 5 power guy in baseball. He has no home runs this year. He has no RBIs this season. He has largely struggled for the most part. Now, he's doing better this year. He's still a relatively young player. But if Jack Caglione was doing what Carter Jensen was doing, he'd be the most popular player on the team based on how we were talking about him last year. Carter did not come in with the amount of fanfare based on what he's done, and they are basically the same age. And one of them plays a more valuable position than the other player does. We did waste the good surprise on Jack Caglione.
That's not to say that I think Caglione's not been somewhat productive this year. I mean, it's a slow start, but he is not the problem with the offense.
No, not at all. Of course not.
I get what you're saying. Jensen has been the better surprise. I know you don't like hard hit stats, but when he's making contact, it is high velo, and it's usually leaving the ballpark.
Yeah, we did this for 4 months last year with Jack Caglione.
I'm talking about Jensen.
Okay, my bad. I thought because I remember we were doing that too when Jack Caglione was hitting 180.
Caglione's hitting at 105, right ground ball right to someone. Jensen's hitting at 110 out of the park. So, but I do think right now, and this is where I don't want to sound like a Royals apologist. If we were to look up
has to be right now.
If we were to look up the Royals outfield today, Isaac Collins and Jack Caglione, what they're hitting versus what
their offense is better than their outfield is better than what last year's outfield is. I agree with that.
And that was, calling that the Achilles heel is underselling what an Achilles heel is. Is there a super duper Achilles heel? Whatever. I think Vinny, Bobby, and Salvi will get going to a level. So if you're telling me last year's team was 82 wins with Yumi and Speck in the outfield, I think this team still has a higher ceiling. You're right. There's a chance it doesn't all come together. But if you're telling me the floor is 82 and 80, that's not a bad place to be in with the Royals. I think you're being a little bit glass half empty right now for a team where at one point in our lives, let me rephrase that. At one point since I've been working here, the floor was 50 wins. Now the floor is 80. That's massive improvement with a ceiling that still think was high.
Let's go back to the phone lines. Andy called into the show today. Andy, how you doing today, my man?
Good, C-Dot. How are you?
Doing good, man.
And I think it was funny you brought the comparison between the Chiefs and the Royals. I think that they are pretty close to the same type of team. They can't really get it together at the same time. And I have a question for you, too. Who do you think has a higher ceiling, Xavier Worthy or Jack Caglione? Because right now it seems like they're going to have very similar careers, and they're the exact same type of player. A lot of hype, a lot of speed for Worthy, a lot of power for Caglione. Just can't put it together, man. I appreciate it.
It's a good question. I appreciate the phone call. I would still pick Jack Caglione out of those two. The only reason I answer it that way is I feel like I've seen enough Xavier Worthy that if he took he'd have to take 2 steps, I think, to get to where the expectation was, and not just the 1 step. Like, if Xavier Worthy turned out to be the receiver that many people thought he could be when he came out of Texas, he's not 1 step away from that. He's really 2 steps away from that. Where I think with Jack Caglione, it's just time, more ABs, doesn't have enough experience. We're not even talking about a full year for Jack Caglione. Someone on the text line just said this, C-Dot, what you're describing is basically how a top prospect works. Maybe I just thought, and this was the wrong way of thinking, but based on the way everybody thought, I thought that the Royals were getting Roman Anthony. That's what I thought they were getting. I thought they were getting Roman Anthony, and I don't think that Jack Caglione has been Roman Anthony so far.
Or even, I know it's deep cut.
He hasn't been Carter Jensen so far.
He hasn't been the guy for the Tigers, Kevin McGonigal. He's been just solid. Maybe a little average. Maybe a little below solid. He's been just not a negative, but he has not been an overwhelming positive.
Yeah, I'm just, I know we can hop in the DeLorean now, and it's easy to play hindsight as 2020. But if I told you a year ago that Jack Caglione is not the best 22-year-old prospect in their own organization, you would have called me crazy. You would have called me crazy if I had told you that. That is absolutely the case today, just based on what those guys have done so far in their career. Now, it's early. What do you look like at 23? What do you look like at 25? But if I had told you a year ago, hey, all the conversation you have about Jack Caglione, there's somebody who was going to come up later than him that you were going to feel much better about, you would have said that I was crazy based on that, kind of how it's been so far. Let's take another phone call here, 913-586-7965. We're taking phone calls. We're doing extended Royals post-game. Steve called into the show. Hey, Steve, how you doing today, man?
Good. How you doing, C-Dot?
Doing good, man. Appreciate you calling in.
I'm 100% with you. I think heads need to start rolling a little bit. This is a lot of talent, great starting pitching, 1 hit. Shake up something.
Steve, I'm with you, man. I appreciate the phone call. I don't think we're at a shake things up point. It's just, I guess at least for me, I don't want to fall into the trap, and this is the point that I've been making so far, is, man, all of these games matter. They really matter. That I feel like last year we fell into the, it's early. How can you overreact? It's 20 games. It's 30 games. It's 40 games. Man, these games matter, especially when, we're talking about, there is a significant difference in being an 84-win team and an 88-win team. At 84 wins, you virtually have really no chance of winning your division. At 88 games, you got a legitimate chance at winning your division. So it's it's 4 games. Yes, those 4 games mean everything. In an NFL sense, Rob, we watch it. There's a drastic difference in 9 wins and 10 wins. 9 wins means you maybe should start getting ready for the NFL draft. 10 wins, you're in the playoffs potentially. So that's why, at least to me, if we're holding this team to a playoff bust mentality, man, these games matter. These wins matter. So when you got a 1-0 lead, or when you got a 1-1 lead heading into the 9th inning and you've only gotten one hit, the Royals should have won today. And this is what this is the third show we've done where we feel like, man, the Royals should have won this game today. They outperformed this team. They were better than this team today, and they let that game slip through their fingers.
I will join you in Royals frustration for this point. For a team that you, I, Vern, Cody, Gold, Bob, Dusty, everyone, Mac, Drew, everyone felt like they are going to be an AL Central competitor. And you're right, all the games matter. The Royals have thrown 3 games away. They threw away today because they just couldn't get a second hit, which is not good enough. They threw away the second game of the season because all spring everyone knew, hey, Carlos Estevez can't get people out. It's 2-0 in Atlanta, second game of the year. What do? You roll out Carlos Estevez. Well, then guess what happens? You lose. That's 2 games I threw away. And as much as we are praising Carter Jensen, and he has been a positive for this team, a game where he's supposed to start behind the plate and his alarm doesn't go off, and they have to shuffle the whole lineup, and because of it, they lose. That's 3 games in 11 they've thrown away. Now, I'm not saying they go 3-0 in those games, but even if you're 2-1 in those games, opposed to 0-3, you and I would feel light years different about this Royals team. You would have won the Atlanta series. You would have swept the Twins potentially. You would be then going for a sweep of the Guardians tomorrow. You would feel different. So to your point, and I will join you 100% at this point, every game matters. It's not that they've lost 6 games. It's they've punted on 3 of those games.
For sure. We'll put these phone calls on hold. We'll take them here. 913-586-7965. I want to talk a little bit of Chiefs here, but stick with me. I promise you we'll take your phone calls here coming up in just a little bit. Let's squeeze in a little bit of NFL draft talk, a little bit of Chiefs talk, and we'll get back to the Royals here coming up in a little bit. Here is Ian Rappaport on how he thinks the Rashee Rice news affects the Chiefs in the NFL draft.
You know, there's sometimes a little bit of an eye roll, guys, when we report visits because it's like, well, a team wants to visit a player. Like, that's not that meaningful. It was interesting to me that the Chiefs have visited with a couple really good pass rushers who should go earlier than they pick, which means at least they're looking at the potential of moving up in the draft and taking a edge rusher who could be potentially elite. Because remember, the last time they moved a really good player for a first-round pick and more, which was Tyreek Hill, the last time they did that, they completely retooled their defense. But this is what the Chiefs do, right, Mike? They have the opportunity to take these draft picks and say, we're going to make the entire team better while giving up one good player to do it. The other thing that I noticed in that interview, which I thought was a very good interview, Andy Reid can be really tough, is him saying they snuck out and got Justin Fields, kind of, did it on the sly a little bit, knowing how important that quarterback spot was in case Patrick Mahomes isn't going to be ready. They believe he will, but if he's not, they had to be ready. And that was a pretty smart trade that the Kansas City Chiefs pulled off.
We'll get back to Royals phone calls here coming up in just a bit. Rob, I know that you are very reluctant to move on from draft picks. You like to hoard draft picks. You're a draft pick hoarder. I don't think that you can get David Bailey or Ruben Bain and also pick at 74. I don't think you can do both. Now, maybe those guys are not worthy to you to move up and give up that 74th overall pick, but the Chiefs are, well, I'm not 100% sure they're going to pick at 29, but they're going to pick around 29. They're going to pick either 25 to 35. I could see them moving up just a little bit. I could see them moving back a little bit to pick up some draft picks, but they're not completely moving out of that spot with what they got back for Trent McDuffie. When it comes to pick 74, if you really want Ruben Bain, I think you're going to have to get it. I don't know if you can trust that he's going to fall in the draft. I don't think you can trust it. I think you're going to have to take 9 and 74 and try to get up to 6 if you want to try to get him. I think that goes for Carnell Tate. I think it goes for David Bailey, and I think it goes for Ruben Bain. At this point, I would be surprised if all 3 of those guys, I guess if at least one of those guys were there available at 9. I don't know with the way the draft appears to be heading. I don't know if you get your pick at 9 if that's the case.
The Chiefs might be facing down the barrel in a few weeks of a nightmare scenario where they're sitting at 9, Tate's gone, Bain's gone, Bailey's gone. Then they have a real question of what now? So I am a horde picks guy, but if you're telling me and you're Brett Veach and you're thinking to yourself, I got to get up to 6-7 to get one of these pass rushers, I would maybe be in favor because you have 9 picks of being flexible to get up to 7, 6 to go get one of them. But you can't stand pat at 9 and get no pass rusher, no elite wide receiver. You just can't.
Yeah, and I mean, again, a lot of it just comes down to how aggressive do you want to be in this year's NFL draft. And I think if you want to be very aggressive to get one of those 2 pass rushers, I think it's going to cost you the 74th overall pick. I think you're going to ultimately have to end up making that move. We'll keep talking Royals baseball on the other side. If you're on hold, stay there. We'll take your calls on the other side. The Royals lose a cold heartbreaker today. Keep it right here. It's The Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on Kansas City's only FM sports station, 96.5, The Fan.
Spring is here, and the first golf major of the season is here, and there's no better way than celebrate with our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel has your back with the special Mulligan Bet Back token this week in golf. Once the tournament gets going, you can turn any losing bet into a bonus bet for another try. Now you've got protection to take that sleeper pick, take a big chance, or make a bold prediction as we are celebrating the first major tournament of the golf season, and you know you want to be a part of it. Are you taking somebody to win it all? Well, go for it. Do you like somebody for a top 5 finish? Well, you can lock it in with confidence because if it doesn't hit, you got that mulligan in your back pocket locked and ready to go. All you need to do is go to FanDuel.com/local to claim your special Mulligan Bet Back token. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and over in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Look, we all have those moments where we have to say no. No to a round of golf, no to a long walk, or even just no to getting out of the chair because your knees or your back aren't cooperating. But as we head into vacation season, think about the people waiting for you to say yes. Your family, your friends, they want the real you back, the one who isn't sidelined by chronic pain. I want to help you turn that corner. At QC Kinetics, they specialize in regenerative treatments that get you back in the game without surgery or without endless recovery months. Be honest with yourself for a second. Does joint pain keep you up at night? Are you at the end of your rope leaning on daily meds just to get through a shift at work? If you're nodding your head, you're exactly who QC Kinetics helps every single day. The best part, it's done right in their office with no downtime. So call them today for that free consultation. 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. They're located off 435 in State Line or in Gladstone. 816-412-6299.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready. LendSeek.com. LendSeek.com.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Furnished by IntelliBrands.
Have you ever felt leg pain, restlessness, cramps, tingling, swelling, numbness, itchiness, or coldness? Then you need the new patented Legsercise Pro, the natural circulation booster that uses continuous automatic leg movement to soothe pain and promote healthy circulation the natural drug-free way.
Using Legsercise made walking painless again.
Legsercise Pro's patented walking simulator propulsion technology moves your feet back and forth along its concave track, creating constant movement and flex at both the knee and ankle joints. It's like having a physical therapist right in your own home.
I have much less swelling and no more tingling.
Call right now and order your very own Legsercise Pro, the new proven automatic leg mover that soothes pain and naturally promotes healthy circulation. Call 800-555-1212. That's 800-555-1212. 800-555-1212 now.
These statements and products have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition.
Royals coverage sponsored by Park & Go, the best deal on airport parking.
Trading the jacket for flip-flops? Start your sun-soaked getaway stress-free with Park & Go. All covered parking keeps your car cool and protected while you're catching rays. Quick shuttle straight to the terminal. Reserve now at bookparkandgo.com. Park & Go, family-owned, customer-approved.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Okay, downtown, still dealing with the crash. 2 cars involved, 71 southbound as you approach 670. Left lane is blocked. Good news, 670 westbound is reopened. Now you've got a stall. There was a crash earlier. Now it's a stall at Broadway. Be prepared to tap your brakes there, 670 westbound at Broadway. And then you've got Kansas side of things. Let's see, 435 southbound just past Kansas Avenue. Left lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is 96.5 The Fan, your home for Chiefs football.
I want to read something to you guys before we get back to the phone lines. This is about Rashee Rice, the Chiefs wide receiver. He was on a Instagram Live, and he said that he is trying to get that JSN money, and he wants to stay with the Chiefs for the rest of his career. Rob, which one do you think is more likely for Rashee Rice? Do you think he gets to the JSN money, or do you think he is a Chief for the remainder of his career? Which one's more likely?
Now, when he says JSN money, does he mean over the totality of his career or like one contract? Because that's never happening in one contract.
I don't know. I haven't had a chance to talk to him. I'm assuming that is in one deal, that he is trying to wake up one day and be the highest paid receiver in the National Football League. I actually think that's more likely than him staying with the Chiefs.
You think someone else is going to give him that contract?
No, I don't. I'm saying it's out of those two things. If you're telling me that one of these two things happens for Rashee Rice in his life, I think it is much more likely that he gets JSN money than he is a continued member of the Kansas City Chiefs.
I actually think it's the opposite. I think the Chiefs love to keep their own, man, sometimes to a fault. I could see the Chiefs.
I don't think they've ever kept a player with this amount of problems.
Can I say Tyreek Hill? There's a talent difference.
Yeah, but we didn't really hear a whole lot about Tyreek until it would just kind of pop up in spurts. He got in trouble when he was in college.
That's true.
And then we didn't hear about it his rookie deal. He was about to get his second deal. It popped back up. It was resolved rather quickly, and that was it.
And
I
then
know
he
one
was
thing.
out.
Tyreek Hill wasn't a felon his time in Kansas City.
That's true. I don't think there's been a recent example. I mean, maybe like old school Chiefs. There's someone I'm not thinking about, but yeah, you're right. The Chiefs love their own, man. And the Chiefs think Rashee Rice is a number one wideout. Their actions so far this offseason makes you think that. So of the two options, I don't think either is likely. But of the two being more likely, I think he's a Chief for life versus JSN money. I don't think he's ever touching JSN money.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not mad at him for saying this, but I guess
he's supposed to say that.
Yeah, I guess what I would just say is, hey, big dog, why don't we just focus on getting to 1,000 yards? Why don't we just focus on staying healthy?
Well, you know, let's lower the bar. Let's not be on TMZ for the next 6 months. Yeah. Just try that. You haven't
great goals.
You haven't had a 6-month run of TMZ not reporting on something. So let's see if you can make it to Halloween without being the TMZ story.
I actually think that he's going to be on there again because his girlfriend is relatively social media famous. I mean, so I think I think there's a chance. So all Rashee Rice TMZ stories are not bad stories.
So far, they've all been bad stories, but you're right. If he's out at a nightclub just minding his business in May, that's fine. But if he's deciding that it's Super Mario Kart time, that's a bad TMZ story.
Well, I don't know if he's going to be on TMZ for buying or something really expensive. I don't know if he got liquid like that. I don't know if he got the cash like that. I don't know if he's going to be buying the Kobe Bryant Vanessa ring anytime soon. I don't know if his money works that way.
I mean, maybe TMZ will report on the fact that he's going to just do his 30 days in jail at some point this offseason.
Okay.
That's the thing that has to happen. It's a fact of life. He has to go spend 30 days in jail.
He does have to do it. I would just go ahead and get it done. Yeah, what are you doing?
I would do it now. Just knock it out. You can't be in problems when you're in solitary.
913-586-7965. Let's go to Darren. He called into the show. Hey, Darren, how you doing today, man?
Hey, how you doing? Thanks for taking my call.
Yeah, of course.
Hey, I just think they should start bunting a little bit more and move the runners across, because I tell you, they're having a lot of problems with scoring. So that's about the only way to get it going, get confidence, and get a little juice in that dugout. And the other thing is the pitching staff is not going to last that long. I mean, they're really good, but we found out a couple years ago that, yeah, they'll start doing good, but they're just, they'll last until probably June, and then people will start figuring them out, and then they start hitting a long time.
Darren, I appreciate the phone call. I mean, I don't think that you're saying a bad strategy, but I would say maybe one of the flaws in your strategy is even when you bunt to get on first base, someone eventually has to bring you home. They had one hit today. One. Ooh, it was a solo home run today. You gotta have some extra base hits. You gotta have some RBIs. You're not getting RBIs from your RBI guys. Jack Caglione has 0 RBIs. As many as you and I have.
The problem today was not getting runners over. They got plenty of runners on via no hits. It was just that last part, the hit, the big hit. 0 for 4 runners in scoring position today. And also 14 strikeouts. That's also bad today.
Yeah, not good. Kodiak, I believe that's how you pronounce this, called into the show. How are you doing today?
Hey, C-Dot. First off, MIZ, fellow Tiger sympathizer here. But following the Royals here, I love the approach that they're getting, right? That, you've never seen a Royals team walk as much as they've been doing recently. Now, they need to clean up on the base paths. They're getting caught at first base way too much. But when Bobby doesn't have an extra base hit, Vinny doesn't have a home run, Jack doesn't have a home run or an RBI, those are your big guys, the contributors that you're looking for. That one guy, I think Easton, who called in earlier, he made the point, the bottom of the lineup's really good right now. And Kyle Isbell, Isaac Collins, Jack Caglione, even to a sense, he's getting on base, hitting the ball well. So, they need to just keep going. When the big guys, the big dogs start hitting, then we're going to start seeing some good stuff going on.
I appreciate the phone call. I mean, I'm with you when it comes to that. We'll reset things coming up at the top of the hour. I feel like we've had too many portions with the Royals that we have been waiting for the big dogs to eat. This was basically the first 30 games of last year. We were waiting for the big dogs to eat. Hey, when's Vinny going to get going? Hey, when this guy's going to get going? I just feel like we've had a lot of those prolonged periods with the Royals that we were waiting for their offense to meet the rest of the team and meet the starting pitching. That their starting pitching continues to give you quality starts, and just their offense doesn't do enough on a pretty continuous basis.
I agree, and we can reset the top of the hour. I do feel like right now the results are bad, but the process is good. I will have a different conversation on Memorial Day. I'll have a different conversation on the 4th of July, but 8 walks is a positive step for this offense. We didn't have a show because they were playing the day game because of the frigid cold. They had a good night last night offensively. Not great, but a good enough night to win. Like, I'm not quitting on this Royals offense. Do I think it's going to be the Yankees? No. Do I think it's the Dodgers? Do I think it can be better than the worst offense in baseball, which at times was last year? Yes. I do think there is still there is improvement we're seeing. It's just we haven't seen the results follow yet because we're 11 games in. 5 and 6 is like being down at halftime of the first NFL game for that comparison.
We're going to reset things coming up at the top of the hour, 913-586-7965. We're going to continue to take your calls. I am a little bit frustrated with the Royals, and I feel like in some ways we are just walking in place. I'll explain more. Keep it right here, so drive.
Tune in to hear the Hall of Fame voice of the Royals, Denny Matthews.
There's a high fly ball, deep left center. That goes Ward to the wall. Gone, Bobby Witt Jr.
Every Monday at 3, right here on your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan. Here's your traffic report on 96.5, The Fan.
Okay, downtown, still dealing with the crash. 2 cars involved, 71 southbound as you approach 670. Left lane is blocked. Good news, 670 westbound is reopened. Now you've got a stall. There was a crash earlier. Now it's a stall at Broadway. Be prepared to tap your brakes there, 670 westbound at Broadway. And then you've got Kansas side of things. Let's see, 435 southbound just past Kansas Avenue. Left lane blocked. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
As the seasons change, it's time to prep your HVAC system with a $49 seasonal tune-up from Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. A tune-up can help save money on your energy bill and help prevent expensive breakdowns. As your local home service experts, everything we do is backed by our exceptional service guarantee. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews adds up to dependable service from neighbors you trust. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy 1 Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Hello, Kansas City. Bank of America, in partnership with Visa, invites you to a FIFA World Cup 26 watch party. Open an eligible Bank of America checking account in participating financial centers only for an opportunity to reserve 2 complimentary tickets while supplies last. Experience special musical guests, games, giveaways, food, and more, all at a legendary venue. Learn more at BofA.com/BofA Visa Watch Party. What would you like the power to do? Bank of America, proud to be the official bank of FIFA World Cup 26. Bank of America and a member of FDIC. Terms apply. All rights reserved.
Xfinity Tech Support, Matthew speaking.
Hi, I live in a pretty remote place, like Jurassic Park remote. No!
Wow.
Will Xfinity Mobile work out here?
Yep, the combination of reliable Wi-Fi and 5G makes it so that you can stay connected in all kinds of places. Plus, you get access to ultra-fast speeds and coverage, whether you're poolside or out live streaming with a T-Rex.
Hold still, you're about to go viral.
Welcome to a new era of Wi-Fi boosted mobile. Cut your mobile bill in half with 2 lines of unlimited. Learn more at xfinitymobile.com. Xfinity, imagine that. Watch Jurassic Park with Xfinity. Restrictions apply. Xfinity Internet required. Savings comparison based on promotional rate for 2 lines of Xfinity Mobile Unlimited versus 2 lines of T-Mobile Experience More, Verizon Unlimited Plus, and AT&T Starter as of February 10th, 2026. Taxes, fees, extra.
Vicky Stevens writes, "We weren't happy with the way things turned out last season, so I made the call. Weedman's been a total game changer. Fertilization, weed control, the whole 9 yards. Our lawn has never looked better. The neighbors are so jealous, they avoid me at the supermarket. It's fantastic. Go to weedman.com, enter promo code GREEN, and get 1 free service."
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack. Jack had a home he needed to sell fast. And Jack thought he had it all figured out. So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers. Jack chose the highest offer. But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out, leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do. Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer. Jack got suckered. Make sure you aren't hung out to dry. Call our dad at Rex Buys KC. Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals. No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises. Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process. Now, don't be like Jack. Call 816-330-6000
or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Tyler Reddick here from 2311 Racing. The rush of racing? Nothing beats it. But Chumba Casino comes close. Chumba's got fast spins, fun games, daily bonuses, and all the action you can handle. Now that's a ride. Ready to hit the throttle? Get in the driver's seat and head to ChumbaCasino.com. Let's Chumba.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 21 plus. Terms and conditions apply.
When you're vacationing in your RV, there are some things you can always count on. Taking the kayaks out on the lake, hot dogs on the grill, and your sister's boyfriend pulling out his acoustic guitar.
Everyone quiet! Harrison's playing. Wow, you're so good, Harrison.
With Progressive, your RV is protected 24/7, so you're prepared for whatever you don't see coming. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in D.C.
What's up, KC? It's Matt Strom from the Kansas City Royals. Don't miss Vern's On Deck show 1 hour before first pitch right here on 96.5 The Fan.
KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey Sports Station.
Congratulations on getting through your 9 to 5. Thank you so much for listening. It is The Drive. Let me tell you guys that we are having a draft party on Thursday, April 23rd. We are going to be at the Brooksider. Come hang out with us. We're going to watch the draft. Binkley's going to be there. Unacero's going to be there. They're going to be doing their podcast. There's going to be a prize if you win our draft contest. We are going to be at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill. Game day starts there. My name is Carrington Harrison. Very happy to be here with you guys on this very wonderful, wonderful Tuesday. We have a lot to get into. So this is where I am with the Royals. I promise you we will take calls, 913-586-7965. So if you want to get on hold, I promise you we will take your call. This is where I am. I told this story earlier. I'll tell you a much smaller version of it now. Rob and I are sitting there watching the game. And I was making a joke about the extra inning rules. Rob looked at me and said, we're not going to need the extra inning rules because I know what's going to happen. Rob ended up being exactly right. The Royals gave up a run in the bottom of the 9th inning, and the Guardians go home winners today. As I'm sitting there with Rob and Spector asked a very good question. Are you more mad at the bullpen or at the offense? And we were having a conversation about it. And this is where I am with the Royals. And that's why I'm happy to take you guys' phone calls. I'm happy to read you guys' text, 913-586-7965. I just feel like the Royals are stuck. That's how I feel. I feel like the Royals are stuck. I'm not here telling you that the Royals are bad. No one thinks the Royals are bad anymore. They used to be bad for sure. They've been bad for most of our lives. The Royals are not a bad baseball team. I looked this up because I was curious. Since the All-Star break in 2024, the Royals have played now 238 games. Over those 238 games, the Royals are 4 games over 500. They are 121 and 117. They are slightly above average. And I looked this up because I feel for basically the last year and a half, the Royals have just been treading water. And at least what I wanted to see at the beginning of the season is the Royals come out hot, the Royals coming out and playing with some energy and really carrying the momentum that I thought they picked up from the World Baseball Classic and seeing that transfer into the Major League Baseball regular season. I think it's safe to say that hadn't happened. And I was wondering to myself, as we've been following this team, as I've been watching this team, were all the signs there that this was going to happen? Yes, the Royals have made some small improvements to the team. But for the most part, this is the same team that we watched and broke down last year. They did not really make some major foundational changes. And I understand why they didn't do that. But a lot of us were waiting to see if the Royals were going to make that big trade in the bullpen, or they were going to make that big trade when it came to the outfield, that big move that gave them that legitimate bat in the middle of the lineup. And what it feels like the Royals went with is And again, I'm not mad at them for going with this plan. It feels like the Royals were thinking, we'll make some small cosmetic changes, picking up Lane Thomas, picking up Isaac Collins. We'll make some small cosmetic changes, and the foundation that we've been building over time, those guys are ready to take a step forward, and those guys are going to carry us, which is not a bad plan. So far, Bobby Witt Jr. doesn't have a home run this season. We're a week and a half into the season, 2 weeks into the season. Jack Caglione does not have a home run, does not have an RBI so far this season. Vinny Pasquantino doesn't have a home run. So, like, guys you are counting on to carry you offensively are not carrying you offensively. And it just feels like we've been here before. If the goal of the Royals and the kind of baseball team we're talking about is a team that you feel good enough to buy a ticket for and you feel good enough to take your family to the games, then the Royals have accomplished that. And they've been there now for 2 years. The Royals will put on a good show when you go out there. They're not going to embarrass you. You can wear your Royal stuff in public. You want to go buy a jersey. You want to wear a hat. You want to go to the games. They got cool promotions. Like, the Royals have got to that point. I'm ready for the Royals to take that next step. They are a 6-6 college football team that you're ready to watch win 8 or 9 games and seriously challenge to win the division or win the conference. They're a 8-8, 9-8 football team that you're ready to see if they're ready to take that next step. You know who the Royals are? They're the Pittsburgh Steelers right now. That's what they feel like. They feel like the Steelers. Nobody think the Steelers are bad. Nobody think the Steelers are going to compete for the Super Bowl. They just exist. They're going to play in some big games. You're going to go there. You're going to that's just where we feel like we were at the Royals. And I want more for the Royals is maybe the point of all of this. And I thought that's what we were headed towards. And maybe we do head there. But I feel like we have been at this stage with the Royals. I feel like I've come on here and I've had they feel like the 2013 Royals take, and we've been having that take now for the last 18 months. That's who the Royals feel like. Well, eventually the 2013 Royals, they evolved past being the 2013 Royals. Eventually they won their division. Eventually they won playoff series. Eventually they competed for championships. Eventually they won a championship. They progressed. It just doesn't feel like the Royals have progressed. And maybe this is just too early to have this stance. But as I'm watching the Royals so far through the first 10 days of the season, they don't look any different than they looked last year. They don't look any different to me. Sure, we've moved some things around, but for the most part, this looks like an 83 to possibly 85 win baseball team. That's not a team that can win their division. That's a team that is competing for the second or third wild card. That is a team that there will be a noticeable difference between them and the team that you actually think can make noise in the American League.
I am not ready to make those decisions, thoughts, opinions at 11 games in. I'm not saying you're wrong. It's very possible you're 100% correct. I'm not there yet with this team. They have definitely had some struggles out the gate. We talked about it before the season started. Hey, wouldn't it be great if this team started hot and took the city by storm? They didn't do that. They're 5-6. They are totally middle of the pack. But I look around their division. A lot of middle of the pack teams in their division. It's not like the Tigers are 10-1. It's not like the Guardians are 8-3. It's a lot of the same. I also think sometimes good process doesn't always have good results. I think that's just what happened today. They did not get a second hit, and I am not discounting the fact they only had one hit. That's obviously not good enough. Their bullpen in the 9th inning, John Schreiber, I don't think he's a 9th inning type of guy. I don't think that was a good decision. But you're telling me a team that got 8 walks, only scratch 1 across? I will take my chances with a team having 8 walks on June 14th, July 11th, August 14th, and I think they're going to score more than 1 run. So I think the process is good and the results are going to follow. I also think I understand your 6-6 analogy, but they were 6-6 while not having, for the analogy, a defense. They didn't have an outfield last year. Kyle Isbell was bad last year. Wasn't his fault. He was not the worst outfielder, but he wasn't a good hitter. MJ Melendez, I don't know he's still in baseball, and Hunter Renfroe, who I know isn't in baseball. Right now, they are getting league average to above league average production in the outfield. So they last year went 82-80 with a major Achilles heel. I think this team, now maybe they're not a 100-win team, but they still feel like a team that can go 86-91 and maybe 87 wins in this division that looks pretty soft early going is good enough to have you host an ALDS.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfectly reasonable stance.
Which
like
I would call a step forward, by the way.
Like the text line is pushing back. Text line 913-586-7965. CDOT, you're already reacting after 10 games. This is just not a 10-game point to me. Again, I gave you the stat. The Royals, since the All-Star break in 2024, they are 4 games over 500. That is a almost 240 game sample size. What have we seen over the first 11 games of Royals baseball that would suggest they are drastically different than what they've been over the last year and a half or so? So when I see a text like this, I'm not saying that you're wrong. CDOT, Kaggs has a decent batting average. Carter has been good. McKellar's been even better. I think the starters are good. They can win 90 games once Bobby or Vinny wake up. But this would be my point. This would be my counterpoint is we watch sports. The moment that Vinny and Bobby wake up, something else will go wrong because that's sports, right? Am I lying? Is that not sports? So I just feel like we have had some variation of, well, this thing is going well, but once they fix this thing, everything's going to be good. Well, then something else breaks. That sounds like the Chiefs season, does it not? I mean, this offense isn't really scoring, but, I mean, once they get Xavier Worthy back, it's going to solve everything. Once they get Rashee Rice back, well, then something else went wrong. Something else is always going to go wrong. It's sports. Somebody gets hurt. Somebody is not production. Like, we watch these things too much. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying, what have I seen from the Royals to suggest that this team is ready to take the step you're talking about? Because I know it doesn't seem like it's that big, but the step from where they were last year to being a 90-win baseball team is cleaning some of this stuff up. That's a big step from being an 82-win team that misses the playoffs last year to being a 90-win team that can win the World Series and challenge for the World Series. That is a substantial improvement.
Let me counter your counter. Let me go Floyd Mayweather here.
Let's do it.
I'll say this. I'll make a basketball analogy. Right now, the Royals are 100%, I agree with you, they are treading water. But they're treading water with their role players playing really good. And their stars, the guys that you say in crunch time, for my basketball analogy, go get me a bucket. Right now, none of those guys are getting buckets. Bobby's bad right now. Vinny might be worse right now. Salvi is out the gate slow. I know he has a couple homers, but it's not like Salvi's tearing the world on fire. Eventually, the thought is those guys will start being the stars. You want the ball in their hands late in the game. They will make the big plays. And my thought is, if Bobby starts being Bobby again, then you don't have to have Isaac Collins play world-beating baseball. If Vinny Pasquantino hits a home run at some point this year and his RBI number raises and his OPS gets above 600, I don't need Jonathan India to be a power hit anymore. So when those role players start to regress back to their baseball card, in theory, the good players will make up the difference because that's what they're supposed to be doing. So if you're telling me right now the Royals are treading water and their stars are not being stars, the guys you're counting on, hey, go get me a bucket, it's Brick City, I trust eventually those guys are going to get the bucket. And if the role players, to your point, regress, that's fine because I'll have my big dogs doing big dog stuff.
Okay. That is the sentiment on the text line. The text line is CDOT. This is clickbait. CDOT, it's way too quick to judge. You can't do this game by game. You got to go with 20-game increments. Okay. If the sentiment is we're gonna give the Royals more time, okay. I've at no point have I told you the Royals are bad. I don't think the Royals are bad. I think the Royals are average, and I think they have been average for quite some time. I think they've been average. I think they were average last year. I think they were average in 2024. They just happened to be in the same division as the White Sox, and they pummeled the White Sox. I think the Royals are average right now. I think they are a average baseball team. I'm ready for the Royals to ascend past being average. The gap of what you're talking about, Rob, is the difference of what the Royals were last year and the Seattle Mariners. The Mariners had a chance to win the World Series last year. A legitimate chance to go to the World Series. It was Game 7 of the ALCS, and they lost at home. They had a legitimate chance. That is the gap that we're talking about. And when you have teams on the ropes like the Royals have had so far in their first 11 games, and you let a Carlos Estevez game go, or you lose games like so far in the first 11 days, Rob, you said it yourself earlier, they've given 3 games away. This should be 8-4 baseball team, 8-5 baseball team instead of a 5-6 baseball team. Cleaning those things up is the difference. That's the difference in being the Los Angeles Chargers and the Chiefs. That's the difference, is cleaning those things up and winning those games more consistently. And the Royals, to me, in a year and a half, 2 years, they haven't shown they can win those kind of games consistently or these kinds of series consistently.
Now, at that point, I will 1,000% agree with you. I do think that there's a chance they're higher than average, and I think if their floor is 81, I will sign up with a ceiling. You can go above that. I will sign up for that every year as a Royals fan. They only had 1 month last year where they were sub 500. I will sign up for that as a Royals fan this year, knowing that I have an outfield this year. But I will agree with you on that point. What's frustrating about this Royals season is not the fact their stars aren't hitting yet. Their offense is, scuffling early. The frustration is I think they blew 3 games. And if you are a team competing for a division, you can't be handing games to the opponent. That point, I 1,000% will agree with you. The Estevez game, the oversleeping game, and today's game were just it's like they grabbed defeat from the jaws of victory 3 times this year.
All right, we'll take some phone calls here. 913-586-7965. The Royals lost a heartbreaker today. Now, Rob, we have this joke all the time when we talk about football. What would have got you out there to watch Royals and Guardians today and it was 30-something degrees? Is there anything that would have got you out there to watch that game today? Because your love of baseball, they just got too many baseball games for me to be out there today. It's April 7th. If I got to wear the skull cap and I got to dress like it's a cold December game, I don't know if I don't know if that's a baseball game that I need to be in attendance for. What would have got you to go out to the K today? Now, I know the text on I would have been out there. No, you wouldn't have. No, you wouldn't have. If that game was in Kauffman Stadium and the weather was like it was in Cleveland today, it'd have been 7,000 people at the game today. And I think that's being generous.
I will say this. Listening to the broadcast today, Steve Stewart multiple times mentioned 10,000 at Progressive Field today. That's tickets. Looking around, it's not 10,000, which I don't blame them. The answer is crown seats. If I was in the crown seats, I am never a person who's going to say, no, it's too cold, it's too hot, it's too rainy. If I have crown seats, I'm going to the K. Period. End of discussion. Now, that is the only way I'm getting
not sitting out there, though.
No, I'm inside. I'm eating my prime rib, and I'm watching the game on Royals TV. That's how you get. I have to walk to the car, but that's how you get me to the game today if it was at Kauffman.
Yeah, that's
I'm not being out there in 39-degree weather to watch. Even if the Royals' offense was elite, they weren't scoring more than 4 in that weather. It was never happening.
It honestly just doesn't look fun. Someone said, CDOT, just relax and listen. The Royals won't be playing in any playoff games. It's cool to just go out there, have a hot dog, and have a Cracker Jack, but don't have any expectation of postseason play. That's why I just asked, are we having fun? It's like a relationship. Hey, are we working on being together, or are we just having fun? Because those are 2 completely different goals. My expectations of how I'm going to handle this are very different. Are we just having fun? Are we working towards being together? And it feels like the Royals were just having fun. Hey, let's go out there and get bobblehead dolls. Yeah, that's what we're doing. Then okay, I'm with you. I thought we were trying to win the division. I thought we were trying to really compete, take the step forward. That's what I thought.
I disagree with the texter, by the way. I am not cool with hot dogs and Cracker Jacks and 79.83. That's me. That's why I'm frustrated by giving 3 away. But I'm also not quitting on the season 11 games. But
I don't think there's any reason to quit on the team. I don't think there's any reason to quit. The Royals core felt very similar. So far, the team just feels very similar to how they were last year. Let's go to the phone lines before we get to the hit. Steven called into the show. Hey, Steven, how you doing, man?
Yeah, hey, how you doing? How's it going?
Hey, Steven, you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
I got you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, I'm with you all the way. The team feels like it does last year. So that brings me to this point. So after a while, when we see this kind of pattern, for me, especially the pitching, you leave the pitchers in too long and we get in trouble. And after a while, our poor hitters are like, psychologically, they're getting backdoored. Like, what do we got to do here? So my question to you is, who's accountable for this now? After a while, when you see the same pattern, who's accountable for this?
That is a great question. I would imagine the hitting coach will be the first one held accountable for this if this continues. They're not firing their manager. They're not firing their general manager. It'll be the hitting coach.
I agree. If the hitting coach made it through last year, I mean, you got to be remarkably worse offensively for me to think his job's in peril. That's not me defending him, but think how bad they were offensively last year, and the actual organization never entertained firing Alex Zumwalt. You're telling me this year, I mean, what does it have to look like for them to entertain that at this season?
That's a great question. I don't know.
Because, to cross-sport compare, you said college football earlier. Last year for the hitting coach was like, hey, we went 4-8. They would have to go 1-11 for the hitting coach to be in peril. Because they go 4-8, 5-7 again, they seem like they're cool with Alex Zumwalt, and I forget the assistant hitting coach's name who they brought in. They seem happy or content with what they have.
One thing I will say, and I don't think this is pointing fingers at the fan base, that I see a lot of the sentiment is give this more time, give this more time. I would also say, though, I mean, do you feel like Kansas City is bought into this team or will be bought into this team? Or I would imagine, maybe this is just reading the small minority of people. I would say once the weather heats up, I would say the attendance will be very indicative of how I feel. We need to see more before there is investment and we buy in.
I would say, and I think we're saying the same thing, I think the city wants to buy in, but it's hesitant. If the Royals right now are, what are they, 8-3, 7-4, I think you'd see buy-in. But I think as long as they're 5-6, 6-5, 10-11, 12-13, middling, people are going to be hesitant to buy into this team.
Let's see how the season continues on. Tomorrow is one of those games.
It's a narrative shifting game.
And I would say if we go back, and this isn't even being pessimistic, optimistic, it's just based on the numbers. They lost tomorrow's game a lot last year. They lost tomorrow's game a lot last year. You lose a heartbreaking game 2. It's the rubber game, the third game of it. You could win it, feel good, get back to 500. The Royals lost tomorrow's game a lot last season, which is one of the reasons why they missed the postseason. You're right. Tomorrow is one of those narrative shifting big time games. We will feel drastically different about the Royals whether they win or lose tomorrow, positively or negatively. You can leave Cleveland at 6-6, no harm, no foul. You continue to tread water, and a lot of the tone's going to be the same. Wait till it heats up. Wait till the bats heat up. If they lose and they're 5-7, and you lost a series against a team that you're going to have to compete with, that series loss is going to sting at some point.
I also think, and to your point about the narrative shift, if the Royals win tomorrow, they will have won a series. They will be all your points, plus they'll be 4-2 against the AL Central, a division that we think they couldn't compete for. So,
sure.
yeah, the Brewers and the Braves got the best of them. But if you're 6-6 and you're telling me you're starting to gobble up wins against the division, and then the White Sox are coming to town, a team that if there's one team in baseball I know the Royals can take care of business, it's historically been the White Sox recently. I think people will feel a lot differently of, hey, they're 4-2, they're blank games back in the AL Central, and here come the White Sox. They will be very different tonally if they win yesterday on the text line, or win tomorrow on the text line.
For sure. Really quick, I know we're going to get to the hits here. The transfer portal is open. I want to point that out with you guys. We are open with the transfer portal. So basically how the portal works is you have between now and the 21st to enter the portal. You can commit to a school whenever. But if you are planning your intentions on transferring from your school, you have to do that between some point over the next 15 days. You have to do that at some point. So another Kansas player transfer, right? McDowell,
yeah. You don't have to sign the next 15 days. You said
you have to enter the portal. You can sign in May if you want to. You don't have to. You can commit whenever. As long as they got a scholarship available, you can commit to the university. But if you are leaving where you played basketball at last year, you have to do that between now and the 21st. Do you think that Cole Rosario is coming back? He's the only player returning now at this point, right?
And the another overtime elite kid, Samus Calderon. So yeah, those are the only two guys on the roster, right? Corbin Allen's still on the roster.
Okay, well,
I don't think Corbin Allen's going to stay on the roster, but
shout out to him. Do you think Cole Rosario's coming back?
At this point, I think Cole Rosario's coming back.
I mean, at this point, you can still announce over the next 15 days you ain't coming back to Kansas.
That's true, and maybe he gets recruited over in the next 15 days. But I feel like if
I would hope that Kansas could bring in a better basketball player for next year than Cole Rosario.
I meant he might get recruited over 2 or 3 times before he's buried on the bench. But at this point, I think it's clear that Kansas wanted to keep him, and he appears to be staying.
Okay, well, good luck to Kansas as they're out here working the portal.
They got 8 spots open.
They got their whole starting 5 is gone from last year's team.
It could drop to 7 if Tyron Stokes commits, but that's still 7 roster spots.
Yeah. Kansas's entire starting 5 is gone from last year's team. They got a lot of work to do when it comes to that roster. All right, we can keep taking your phone calls, 913-586-7965. We'll get back to the NFL draft as well. Keep it right here, it's The Drive.
You're listening to The Drive with Carrington Harrison, the go-to show for dating advice you didn't ask for.
If you got to ask your girl to help on the bill on Valentine's Day, you've done something wrong.
On your home for Kansas City sports, 96.5, The Fan.
Tonight, expect a low of 52 with mostly cloudy skies.
Weather brought to you by Duke's Mayo. Welcome to Duke's Mayo Country, where the mayo is so smooth and creamy, it makes every bite better. Duke's Mayo. Look for the yellow lid.
If you're looking for new work, Gann Asphalt and Concrete is seeking motivated candidates to add value to their business and, of course, their clients. They give top pay in the industry. They have health, vision, dental insurance, paid time off, and, of course, advancement opportunities. Work with a great local company who wants to see you grow with them. Go to GannAsphalt.com and find out how this new career opportunity can work out for you. Gann Asphalt, one contractor, all things parking lot.
Spring is here, and as the weather heats up, the sports action heats up at Circus Sports. From baseball to basketball to hockey, Circus Sports has it all. Circus Sports isn't just sports betting, it's sports betting the way it should be. High betting limits, player-friendly pricing, and exceptional customer service. Whether you're looking for playoff futures or props on your favorite players and more, Circus Sports has you covered. And don't miss out on the special Royals props for every game. Download Circus Sports app or visit circusports.com today. Must be 21 or older. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Get ready, Kansas City! Harris is giving you the chance to drive away in a brand new 2025 Ford Bronco Big Bend. Earn entries now through May 2nd just by playing your favorite games. Want even better odds? Every Tuesday in April, score double entries to boost your chances. Then join us May 2nd for the big drawing. Adventure is calling. Will you answer? Only at Harris, Kansas City. 21 or older to gamble. Know when to stop before you start. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Whether you're commuting to work or heading out for a fast coffee break, getting an auto insurance quote is just a tap away. With AAA, you're always connected, so you can focus on the road ahead. Rest easy knowing AAA's got you covered, no matter where life takes you. AAA, we're always with you. To start your quote, visit AAA.com/insurance. Insurance provided to qualified AAA members by Automobile Club Inter-Insurance Exchange and AAA affiliate insurers. Membership requires a separate payment.
Warmer weather, longer days, and a juicy steak sizzling on the fire. Ah, smells like grilling season is here. Stock up and save big this Friday through Sunday at Hy-Vee. Choose bacon-wrapped chicken grillers for $3.99 each. Marinated chicken breasts, $1.99. Thick-cut pork chops, 3 for $5. And specialty brats, just 8 for $10. Don't forget your favorite marinade, rubs, and sauces, and fire up the grill this Friday through Sunday, only at Hy-Vee.
Hy-Vee makes our life easier every single day. Not only do they have great quality customer service and value every single day at Hy-Vee, they help us out and they take the pressure of shopping off our plate. We've got our Perks Plus membership. We upgraded from the regular Hy-Vee Perks membership because with Perks Plus, we get free grocery delivery or express pickup, plus even more exclusive benefits and savings like fuel saver deals all day long. So enroll today at Hy-Vee.com/perks. Only at Hy-Vee.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/radio. That's ethos.com/radio. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
Pros, just because something on the job runs out doesn't mean you have to. Order it on the Lowe's app. My Lowe's Pro Rewards members get free same-day delivery on eligible orders over $25. Get the fasteners, hardware, or tools you need to keep the job moving. Order by 2 p.m. and get eligible in-stock items delivered right to your job site by 8 p.m. Members get more at Lowe's. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Subject to availability, restrictions, and terms at Lowe's.com/shipping terms. Subject to change.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
Royals coverage sponsored by Renner Garage Door. Forward and back, RENNER.
Almost Andy Reid here for Renner Garage Door, America's oldest family-owned garage door company, serving both wholesale and retail markets. Free repair or replacement quotes and $100 off a new garage door.
RENNER.
96.5 The Fan's draft coverage is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army Civic Breakfast. Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
Raytown, new problem for you, and it's 435 southbound, just past Eastwood. The left lane is blocked. Okay, now 35 northbound closed. Okay, at Cambridge Circle. That's that wreck. It's been there for a little bit. I'm guessing this is to clear everything for you, but just know you'll tap your brakes through there. Downtown, that's a stall 670 westbound at Broadway. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
This is your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan.
All right, we're going to split things up this way. We'll talk a little bit of NFL draft here. We'll talk a little college basketball in the national championship game coming up in the last segment of the show. So I want to tell you guys this. Rob was actually the first person that started saying this. Now, I know nobody's going to give Rob credit for this, but Rob's been saying for a month that he thinks David Bailey is going to be the number 2 overall pick in the draft. And now the big dogs are trying to copy this show's swagger. Listen to Daniel Jeremiah. Listen to who he said could potentially go number 2 overall.
But we were talking full disclosure before we launched here today. We're kind of hearing the same thing, that as we're coming down the home stretch here, this feels more like Bailey bird in the hand pick versus the upside
Good way
pick
to
with
put it.
Reese.
Bird in the hand, and that's like, we don't know what these guys are going to become, but you see it on the tape, and there's substantial empirical evidence that David Bailey might be the more pro-ready now. Is that what we would say?
More polished. He just has a game plan as a rusher. He's been doing it forever, playing off the edge. He's very comfortable with it.
I don't think there are a lot of safe picks in this year's NFL draft. There's just not that level of high-end talent. I would say that David Bailey is in the top 5. I imagine a lot of people feel that way about Jeremiah Love, which makes a lot of sense. I think a lot of people feel that way about Caleb Downs. We're not talking about him going this high in the NFL draft. In terms of a pass rusher, there's a lot of things to really like about David Bailey. I'm really big on, did you continue to progress as your college football career moved on? I mean, he got more sacks in each of his 4 seasons, 2.5, 5, 7, left Stanford, transferred to Texas Tech, and had 14.5 sacks last year. And you could argue that he was the best defensive player in college football last year. I certainly understand if you're a team like the Jets and you're thinking, we want to have somebody day one able to step in and we think could hit the ground running. I don't know if you can find too many players in this year's draft class that seem better suited to do that than David Bailey. I could understand how if you're thinking pass rusher and you've got it between Reese and Bailey, I could certainly see why you would take Bailey.
Let me ask you this. From a Chiefs perspective, is Bailey quietly moving up boards the worst case scenario for the Chiefs? Because if Bailey's going 2,
I think we've known for a month that David Bailey is not going to be there at 9.
I think if Bailey's at 2, I think you're going to see a push then for. I think other people who are edge needy are going to start looking at edge differently. And the Chiefs,
I don't think Bain is going to be there at 9 either.
So you have the Chiefs having to trade up to get that because I can't imagine you have Reese being at 9 if the other 2 aren't.
No,
yeah.
I think that those 3 guys are going to go pretty early. I mean, I've said if for somebody like me, maybe that's a better way of putting it. For someone like me, I want them to get edge rusher or wide receiver. I don't think the best wide receiver is going to be there. I don't think the top 3 pass rushers are going to be there whenever the Chiefs select. If you think the top 3 pass rushers are Arvell Reese, David Bailey, and Reuben Bain, I do not think that any of them are going to be there at 9. I also don't think that Carnell Tate is going to be there at 9. Now, you could get Jordan Tyson if you want, and we'll play that audio for you. You could get Mekhi Lemon if you want. You could get Delane. I think he will be there at the 9th overall pick, the corner from LSU. But those guys at pass rush, like, there's not a lot of high-end talent in this year's draft class. There's not a quarterback outside of Mendoza in this draft class. And a lot of the guys that I think people really like just don't play premium positions. So if you got the pass rusher at a comparable grade that you got the running back, then you got to take the pass rusher. If you got the pass rusher as a comparable grade that you got the safety and Caleb Downs, then you got to end up taking Caleb Downs. That's why I think those 3 guys are going to go relatively early.
I think now, again, there's 3 weeks to draft, 2 weeks to draft. It's starting to shake out from what you're hearing with these people that not really going great for the Chiefs because edge rush was a need. They're probably going to be gone. Carnell Tate's a hot name. He's probably going to be gone. 9 is a bad spot to be in suddenly for the Chiefs if the draft shakes out the way people like Peter Schrager and Daniel Jeremiah see it shaking out as of now. A lot of things change. I mean, at this point a couple of years ago, the Panthers are didn't have the number 1 overall pick. They eventually acquired it. But as of now, not great if you're the Chiefs for looking how the board shakes out.
Let me play this audio for you guys. This is from Peter Schrager. Now, this is very important to note, in my opinion. Peter Schrager just sat down and did an interview with Brett Veach. He doesn't really do a whole lot of interviews. So if you're at the point where Brett Veach, not over the phone, this isn't like he called into McAfee or was on his car, in his car and did a Zoom interview. No, we're talking about he sat down with Peter Schrager. So the fact that Peter Schrager then released the mock draft immediately afterwards is something worth keeping an eye on.
First week in April, we drop it. It's kind of like we're just putting it out there in the ether. And I get texts and responses from all the different executives around the league. They say, hey, this guy's too high. We would never draft that guy. What about this guy? And they help use that and the conversations that we've had at the combine and the league meetings and on my phone for the last several months into making the most accurate and the most closest to the pin mock draft right up until the actual draft. And I would say a couple things this week from this one here. Number 1, Jordan Tyson going 9th to the Chiefs. The most polarizing pick in this draft. When I tell you I got a text from a GM who says, I am not sure Tyson even goes top 20. And then I had another text from a GM saying, wow, you think he drops all the way to 9? So you're talking about a guy who has a wide-ranging barometer of where other teams think he's going to go. I put him in Kansas City, and I do so because I believe Andy Reid and Brett Veach have shown a tendency to say, let everyone else worry about guys' health issues and guys off the field, whatever you might have concerns, their desires, all this stuff. Put them in our building. We will get the best players, and we will make the most of them.
I mean, I think there's a lot of things to like about Jordan Tyson. I mean, the injury concerns are a legitimate one. He played 1 full season of college football. He played 1. He started at Colorado. He then transferred out of Colorado, was hurt his sophomore year at Arizona State, in which he didn't have a catch. He played, but just wasn't healthy. His junior year, he was great. 75 catches, 1,100 yards, 10 touchdowns, phenomenal. His last year, only played in 9 games, 700 yards, 8 touchdowns. So, when he plays, he has been a very productive college player. He misses some time. There's a legitimate injury history with Jordan Tyson. Now, I like him, and I think he is a very different kind of receiver than what they have. But hurt in college usually translates to hurt in the National Football League. You keep playing more football. There's bigger, stronger, faster guys. The season is longer. The season is more grueling. If you dealt with injuries in college, it usually doesn't just clear itself up and now you go on a 10-year healthy streak in the National Football League. Game don't really work that way.
I'm not saying this is the end-all, be-all, but Bink, he'll be in the office. We watch the Royals game together. He keeps calling Jordan Tyson the Darren Peterson of college football. Availability was a big question. When he's there, he's good. For the Darren Peterson analogy, the question is, how often is he there? And those injury numbers are, games missed number, is definitely alarming for the Chiefs or anyone taking Jordan Tyson.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think Jordan Tyson can play. And, I mean, if whatever team takes a chance on Jordan Tyson, you got to really trust your medical staff. Honestly, you really got to trust his medical staff. He played 4 years of college football. He had one healthy season. It was a very productive season, a super productive season. He had one healthy season of college football. Like if you draft Jordan Tyson, you can't say you don't know, because it is right there. I mean, right there on the back of his football card, right there on the sports reference page. You know exactly what will be the problem with Jordan Tyson. I think he can translate to the league. Can he stay healthy? Can he stay on the field? That's going to be the $1 million question. So that's why I understand with Schrager. There's a wide range of what he could do. Could Kansas City take him at 9? Sure. Could he fall in the draft because of these injury concerns and go 22nd overall? I would say anything is possible with him. I don't really see a scenario in which Carnell Tate super drops in this draft. I don't really see a scenario in which Mekhi Lemon super drops in this class. Jordan Tyson, I would say, out of those three is the wild card based on where you think he could go. Last night, we saw a champion crowned in college basketball. Sometimes it's simple. The best team wins. That's what happened last night. We'll talk about it. Keep it right here, so Drive.
The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5, The Fan.
Here, and the first golf major of the season is here, and there's no better way than celebrate with our friends over at FanDuel. FanDuel has your back with the special Mulligan Bet Back token this week in golf. Once the tournament gets going, you can turn any losing bet into a bonus bet for another try. Now you've got protection to take that sleeper pick, take a big chance, or make a bold prediction as we are celebrating the first major tournament of the golf season, and you know you want to be a part of it. Are you taking somebody to win it all? Well, go for it. Do you like somebody for a top 5 finish? Well, you can lock it in with confidence, because if it doesn't hit, you got that mulligan in your back pocket locked and ready to go. All you need to do is go to FanDuel.com/local to claim your special Mulligan Bet Back token. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and over and present in Missouri. Opt-in required. Refund issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Max refund $5 unless otherwise specified. Restrictions apply, including token expiration. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Men, we all know how important sex is in a relationship, both for you and your partner. But erectile dysfunction ruins sex, which can often have serious impacts on your relationship as well. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if ED is a problem in your life, you understand the impacts it has on you and the one you love. But I'm here to tell you that ED is a treatable condition, and almost without exception, you can have really good sex again. At Heartland Men's Health, we're experts in treating ED. We've treated tens of thousands of men with protocols that are effective in well over 90% of cases, which means if you're like most guys, good sex will be the norm. You could even last up to an hour or more and bring a level of intimacy for you and your partner that might just astound you both. It's time to have really good sex again, so call us. Just $99 gets you blood work, a medical consult, and if medically advised, a test dose. And if that test dose doesn't work in the office, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com. We have 3 offices: Overland Park, Independence, and North Kansas City.
Hello, this is Jason Gudenkoff with Lewisburg Ford in Lewisburg, Kansas, the home of $50 over factory invoice. Since 1979, our $50 over factory invoice pricing has been saving Kansas City Ford buyers thousands of dollars when buying a new Ford. Our no-hassle $50 over invoice pricing has helped us become the #1 F-150 dealer in the state of Kansas. And now, for the 9th time, the #1 F-150 dealer in the entire Kansas City area. At Lewisburg Ford, we understand that price is important, but it doesn't stop there. There's other factors to this equation: trade allowance, financing, and customer satisfaction. We don't just say that we're great at taking care of customers, we actually do it. Ford Motor Company has awarded us with the President's Award 23 times. This is the top honor that they give their Ford dealers for customer satisfaction in sales and in service. So if you're in the market for a new Ford, come see us at Lewisburg Ford. You can reach us at 816-444-2300 or on the web at lewisburgford.com.
There's a difference between liking a house and actually getting it. Redfin is built to make up that difference and close the gap between finding and owning the home for you. Redfin agents close twice as many deals as other agents, so when you find a home you love, you're not a step behind when it's time to make an offer. That means less watching great homes disappear and more focus on the ones you'll actually move into and call home. Redfin helps turn saved listings into real addresses. Get started at redfin.com. Own the dream.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance tech at a university, he knows ordering from multiple suppliers takes time away from keeping their arena up and running. That's why he counts on Grainger to get everything he needs, from lighting and HVAC parts to plumbing supplies, all in one place. And with fast, dependable delivery, he's stocked and ready for the next tip-off. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Did your HVAC struggle through this rough winter? When it comes to your home comfort, trust the local experts at Hamilton Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Rooter. Right now, you can save up to $2,000 on a new HVAC system with our trade-in allowance program. Over 40 years experience and more than 8,000 five-star reviews, plus our exceptional service guarantee, means you get safe, reliable service and peace of mind. Visit callhamilton.com/radio for details, terms, and conditions.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Here's your traffic report on 96.5 The Fan.
This one brought to you by DM Injury Law, 816-888-7500. Hey, Mike's got this. Okay, Raytown, the problem is a two-car crash 435 southbound at Eastwood. Left lane is blocked. We have got 670 westbound, the exit to Broadway. You'll tap your brakes through there. It looks like that wreck is clearing. Two-car crash still working, 35 northbound at Cambridge. It is the right lane that is blocked. And then we've got 35 southbound just past Lamar. That's a stall blocking part of the right lane. I'm Val with traffic on 96.5 The Fan.
Hey, Kansas City, it's Vinny Pasquantino. Welcome into The Drive with Carrington Harrison on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Sometimes the best team wins, and I don't really think it requires a whole lot more thought than that. Michigan was clearly the best team in college basketball this season. They were clearly the best team in this year's NCAA tournament. They clearly won the game last night. I think if they played UConn 10 times, they win 8 or 9 times. I don't really think there was many pathways to UConn winning that game yesterday, honestly. I don't think there was a whole lot of pathways for them to be able to do it. One thing that I did find very interesting is, it's not surprising, but Michigan was the first team to win the national championship in which all 5 of their starters were transfers. So I know we have frustration with the transfer portal. No one can say that it is not working for some teams. Some teams are utilizing the transfer portal to their advantages. Some teams are not using it to their advantage. But Michigan is getting better transfers than most. I mean, that's a really, really complete basketball team from really all levels. They got a 7-foot big that can block shots and rebound. They had one of the best point guards in college basketball. They had arguably the best player in college basketball this year, who was 31 years old. They had depth. They had shooting. They're well coached. They got a great athletic department. This Michigan team, I don't know if they're going to be a team that we talk about 10, 15 years from now, but they just went on one of the most impressive tournament runs that we've ever seen. Like, from start to finish, dominated this tournament. You know, there's some NCAA tournaments that we have that if you just completely reshuffle it, I think we get a completely different outcome. I don't think that's the case if we reshuffle this. Like, if we restarted the NCAA tournament again on Thursday, and we move things around, you change the 2 seeds and the 3 seeds, I still think Michigan would win that tournament. I think you would get a different Final Four. I just think the Final Four would include Michigan. I also think the Final Four would probably still include Arizona.
I think Duke would maybe make it in that world.
Yeah, for sure. They definitely have a chance.
I don't think it's the most impressive thing, But as I was watching the game last night, I thought to myself, like, okay, UConn is playing the exact style of game they want. We talked about it. If UConn can muddy it up, they might have a chance against Michigan.
They just to make enough shots.
You're right. Basketball is pretty simple. But the fact that if you had told me 24 hours ago, hey, Rob, the national title game is going to be played in the 60s, I'd have been like, oh, I think UConn's winning. Like, I haven't seen Michigan play that style yet. Didn't matter. You said they would win 8 times out of 10. I think they would win 9. If they can win playing UConn style, imagine what that game would look like if it would have been Michigan's pace and tempo. It could have been like the Arizona game all over again. That Michigan team is loaded.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at the way the game broke down yesterday, I mean, you're right. If you had told me that Michigan was going to shoot less than 40%, they were going to be 2 of 15 from 3, and they were still basically going to be in control from start to finish. UConn never challenged Michigan. There was never a time, I would say, in the final 29 minutes of the game, there was never a time in the final 29 minutes in which I thought that UConn was going to win that game. You were just hoping that UConn could keep it close and kind of create that separation. I felt like at halftime, the fact that Michigan, I thought Michigan played about as poorly as I thought they could play. The fact that they were still up and only had 4 points from their Big Ten Player of the Year really told me everything that I needed to know. The game was over. They were not winning that game.
And really, if you were watching the broadcast, Charles Barkley basically said that at halftime. They come to halftime, Bruce Pearl's like, I can't believe Michigan's shooting so bad. Clark Kellogg and Kane Smith talking about the pace and the tempo is what UConn wants, their experience, been in this game before, what's it all mean? And Charles Barkley started laughing, and he's like, all those things are nice. Michigan's leading. They played about as poorly as they could have, and they let it half. And you knew, even with the knee injury, Yaxel's going to get going. He's not going to have 2 all night. He was way more injured than I thought he was, but that's neither here nor there. Michigan, I don't think we're going to look back at them as a wow team. I don't think this Michigan team is going to be viewed the same way we thought of, some of those all-time Duke teams, but their tournament run is beyond impressive. They
just don't
everyone.
think. Yeah, that's they didn't really have an all-time great college player, and I don't think any one of their guys is going to go on to then have a great NBA career. I think those are usually the 2 things that you need for us to remember you. You need to have an all-time great college player, like you need Derrick Rose on your team, and then you need that player to then go on, and then we look back, oh, you remember when that guy was in school? We still talk about that 08 Memphis team with Derrick Rose and Chris Douglas Roberts, and that was a really good team. But you got to have those 2 things. I don't think that Michigan has. That was just a great college basketball team we watched.
Which I think we've seen now in back-to-back years. Who was that dude on the Florida team last year? Keontae George, a good player, but he's not.
Yeah, for sure. Clayton had a great run, but you're right.
We don't talk about him the
10
same way
years from now, we ain't going to be
Davis.
talking about Walter Clayton Jr. and the run that he went on. Is he still in Utah with the Jazz?
I think so.
I haven't seen him in the league at all.
Who's watching Utah in the league?
This is actually his this is his time in the league right now. He should be balling right now. He's averaging 7-2 right now. He actually plays for Memphis. He does not play for Utah. He is on the Memphis Grizzlies.
That's
right
Tennessee,
now.
Utah. No one watches those games.
Yeah, good point. Nobody watches those teams. All right, we another weird day tomorrow with the Royals day game. We'll be on after the Royals game. I had to guess somewhere between 3:30, 4:30, somewhere in that range. We'll catch you guys tomorrow. Take care.